What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 163 of Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to my war room. And just like she's supposed to, look at who's joining us right off the bat. Say hi, Wednesday. Say hi. What are you doing? Should we turn on the pug cam? Are you looking for treats? Is that what you want? Say hi to everyone. Say hi up here. Say hi. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about anyone. I just want cookies, right? Is that what you're saying? I just want cookies? Welcome to the War Room, everybody. I'm Mistress Carrie, and if you're new to the War Room, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. We do this every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern right here on my Facebook page, and then the episodes get posted after the fact on my YouTube channel. And so if you're new, you got to hit us up in the comments. Let us know that it's your first time so the family can welcome you properly. And also let us know where you're watching from, because we've got people like from everywhere. Woo TV checking in the comments. What's up, Trisha, Ryan, Donna's checking in. Jared's here. Christine, Carol, Michelle, Melissa is here in the War Room. So let us know in the comments. Hey, leave the nutcrackers alone. What are you doing, crazy dog? So let us know in the comments. And this, I've been doing the ugly, Christmas sweaters all month long. This is my Merry Pugmas. Let me see if I can get a better shot here. There you go. The Merry Pugmas Christmas sweater. It's the ugliest one I have. I saved it for this week. I wore this ridiculousness for you. Wednesday, do you want to show everyone your trick? Do you want to? No, you got to sit down. Sit down and show everyone your trick. Get down. Good girl. Sit. No, sit. High five. Other side. No, back up so everybody can see you. Sit. High five. Sit down. No, sit down. Good girl. Wednesday's best friend Zero is here in the War Room with us as per usual. Here's Zero. Zero gets treats with no tricks because, well, she's a well-behaved dog that doesn't beg, right, Wednesday? Right? She had her Santa sweater on earlier. It was very cold. And she's got the hot dog. She's got the dinosaurs and the dragon. Wednesday, what about this one? You want the crinkly... Ooh, the nutcracker just fell on my butt. Where is it? Hold on. The Navy's down. Navy is down. Stay. Veronica, what's going on? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Kim's here. Eric's here. Monica and Billy are checking in. Can you jump up and down? Billy wants to know. No, I'm not jumping up and down. You sound like my husband. Let's see. Brito's here. What's up, Brito? Michael is checking in. Let's see. What the fuck, Mass? Where is the cookies? Tracy wants to know. Guys, if you haven't seen my Anna's cookies, the Italian cookies, I got pictures up on my Instagram and on Facebook. They're just as good as they look. They're so delicious. Do not go for the Cheez-It, Mickey says. Right, Wednesday? No Cheez-It for you. Mark says Navy is down. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Michelle, oh man, it's funny the look she gives when you give Zero cookies. I know. She gets so jealous. Even when I say Zero's name, look at her. She's like, what the F, Ma? Stop giving other dogs my cookies. Knock it off. What's up, Andrew? Thanks for checking in. 6 trays of cookies. So Eric, we made, I think we made 4 full batches, and each batch is like 4.5 or 5 dozen cookies, something like that. So that's how many we made so far. Those are just the Anna's cookies. Hey, get down off the table. Wednesday, sit down, sit. Good girl. I did want to make some lemon ones this year, and I have the ingredients to do it. I just got to find the time. But we have tomato sauce to make, lasagna to make. There's a lot going on. So we have a lot of cooking to do, but I do want to make some more of those cookies. But let me tell you what, they're freaking delicious. They're so good. They're stacked up in the kitchen. Somebody actually commented on Facebook and was like, Mistress Carrie didn't make these. She's in a commercial kitchen. Who has a meat slicer in their kitchen? And I commented back and I was like, me, I do. I have a meat slicer. So yeah, that is really the kitchen. And yes, there's a full-size deli slicer in the kitchen because you never know when you're going to immediately need 12 pounds of salami. You just don't know. It could happen at any time. Can I help you? Are you going to sit down? Do I have one more treat for you? Down. Good girl. Sit. No cheating. Can I have a high five? Can I have another high five? No, I want the other one. No, the other one. Sit. This one. No, that one. Good girl. There you go. Where's Zero? Come here, Zero. That's it. That's all the cookies you get tonight. You're going to have to wait till mail call to find out if there's anything in the mail for you. You're going to have to wait. Do you want to just hang out here with the hot dog or like, what do you want to do? Woo TV says all true. It's the shortest day of the year. Eric, is that true? Today's the shortest day of the year? Michael says, not bragging, a 12-pound salami. The day of reckoning is upon us, says Michael. Are the cookies you make a family recipe? Yes, they are. And they are. I don't do a lot of things well, okay? I do a lot of things, but I don't do a lot of things well. Those cookies are one of the things that I do really well. They are really, really good. And I had one for breakfast with my coffee, which, here we go. It has begun. The war against the pillows has begun here in the war room. Wednesday, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? Are you being a weird dog? We're talking about serious cookie things right now in the war room. Can you just chill? I don't have any more of your cookies. We're talking about my cookies now. Can you just hang out? She had a hair on her eyeball. I just wiped it on my pants. It's disgusting. Are you good? Are you just going to chill for a while? Do you want this? There you go. Do you want to come and make pug noises on the microphone? Everybody likes that when you do that. Come here. Come here. Make pug noises in the microphone. You sound like a monster in a Godzilla movie. Do it. All right, hold on. Rawr. We got stuff. Can I just talk now? Because there's no more treats for you. Get out of there. That's the mail. You can't go in there yet. All right, sit there and eat your dragon. Go ahead. Let's see. I put my Christmas cards in the mail yesterday, says Annette. It's the longest, depending on what we're talking about. Jonathan, that's not what we were talking about. Carrie, it's winter solstice. That's right. Okay, so it is the shortest day of the year. It's all uphill from here, guys. We just got to get through January and February and half of March. It'll be St. Patrick's Day before you know it. It's the longest night of the year, and people should light a candle for those that they have in their life. Yes, I absolutely agree, Linda. Hey, hi. Thank you. Do you want to play tug of war? Yes, why don't we do that? Okay, vicious. Did Zach grab your ass? Michael wants to know. No, Zach Wilde, are you talking about? Zach Wilde will never grab anybody's ass. He's been with Barbara Ann since the 6th grade. Yeah, he would never do that. I've seen him do some crazy things. I've seen him in drag, running around. I saw him fire the entire WAF sales department in a meeting that scared the hell out of the GM. He barged into the conference room wearing a dress from Donna Karan, by the way, with a hat, sunglasses, and a wig, and combat boots with the beard, kicked the door into the conference room and said, I don't know what the fuck you guys did, but you're all fired, and turned around and walked out the door. And everyone in the meeting was like, because it wasn't just AAF people in the meeting, it was like all the salespeople from the company. They just turned and were like, oh my God, what just happened? And we were like, yeah, that's Hurricane Zach. That's kind of what happens. Here, take the monkey. Take the monkey. But he's sober now. This was all stuff that Zach did when he was drinking. He juices now and drinks coffee. He's harmless. Let's see. Carrie, do you see Brent Smith loved your cookie pick? Yeah, Mark, because he's smart and he knows what's up. I wish I could send him some, but there's no guarantee that even the overnight delivery right now, they're not guaranteeing overnight delivery, and you can't really have these cookies days old. You gotta get them fresh. They're like cakey inside. When those Anna's cookies are crumbly in the middle, they're not good. They got to be cakey and moist and so good. He really did that. Yes, Sean, he really did that. Ask Mike Shue, anybody that worked at AAF in that time. He absolutely 100% did that. And it will go down in history as like one of the funniest things I've ever. They drove all night from New York. They stopped at the Donna Karan outlet. They were all wasted. And he showed up to do an interview on the morning show in drag at like 8 a.m., drunk, wearing Donna Karan. It's very fashionable, but his legs were very hairy. Let's see. Ryan says, I remember you from, you guys picking on Ryan because he's not the FNG anymore. Let's see. Did you guys just see her sitting there? Like what? Why is she looking at me like that? I'll take it. You guys remember her a couple weeks ago. She was an absolute psycho. I remember when Zach Wilde did that in the meeting. Yeah, Eric, we talked about it for like months on the air. Matter of fact, it was one of the things that when AAF was getting ready to sign off the air last year that came up again because people heard about it. And then the salespeople who got fired by Zach Wilde like went out and told all their clients. And pretty soon it became this infamous thing. Zach Wilde also won a bet with me and Neanderthal, Paul Marshall, who used to work at AAF, over the outcome of a Sox-Yankees game. He was in town for Ozfest. They had a day off. We got tickets. We placed a bet. Losing team had to wear the winning team's jerseys on stage at Ozfest. And so we gave away tickets to bring listeners. I don't know how we got started talking about Zach Wilde, but I'll tell you the story anyway. So we had tickets that listeners were able to win, and we were sitting like 20 rows behind home plate at Fenway Park. Sox-Yankees games. It was ridiculous. Zach shows up with the wallet chains and the beard and the vest, and his guys all had their vests. It was insane. So anyway, we get in there, and you guys know how expensive those tickets are to sit behind home plate at Fenway Park. So the people that have those tickets either are like us that were just lucky enough to get our hands on them, or they have a lot of money. And they see the dregs of society walk into Fenway and sit in those really expensive seats. Zach Wilde calls over the hot dog dude. They have the insulated giant hot dog cooler. Bought a hot dog, a Fenway Frank, for every person in that section. And then all of a sudden, all the rich people realized it was Ozzy's guitar player. And now all these dudes that go to baseball games in suits are now asking to take pictures with Zach Wilde. And he bought everyone hot dogs and was like throwing hot dogs at people. It was hilarious. Of course, my socks let me down that night. And so there is a picture of me. I think there's only one picture of me doing the bet. I had to wear a Jeter jersey to Ozfest. Got booed by all you guys that year at Ozfest and had to introduce, I think Zach was playing twice. I think Black Label played and then he came back and played with Ozzy, or Black Label Black Label was on the tour, and then Sabbath was headlining that year of Ozfest. So there's a picture of me and Neanderthal in Yankees jerseys with Geezer Butler. And the picture is in the artist archive on this Facebook page if you want to go and find it. But yeah, so anyway, those are my Zach stories. I don't know how we got talking about those, but love you, Zach. And last week we were celebrating Zach's 29th anniversary to his wife, Barbara Ann, who he affectionately calls the Warden. So happy anniversary, belated again. Yeah, Brianna, you're probably right. She's saving energy for the mail call. Let's see. Never tasted a Fenway Frank. Are they sold in supermarkets? Eric, you can't get a Fenway. I mean, I think you can, but you need a Fenway Frank cooked in Fenway water, wrapped in the coolers. And then the thing about getting hot dogs at Fenway is you flag the hot dog guy down and you show him how many you want. It just comes with mustard. There's no other way unless you get it from the concession stands. There's no ketchup in sight. And then you send the money down the aisle So this is great for COVID, right? So you send your money like down 20 people in the aisle at Fenway, and then they send the hot dog back, and then your change comes back. So everyone in your row is handing your food. It's wrapped up in like a foil pouch, but your Fenway Frank, it needs to come from Fenway's water, and then it needs to be gently massaged by all the people in your row at the baseball game. Like, it's not going to taste right if you get it in a store. It's just not. And you got to get it with the mustard. Let's see. Chris says, what's up, Carrie and Wednesday? Yeah, and pay like $10 for it. Mark, you're absolutely right. But you know what? You've spent $10 on dumber things than a Frank at Fenway, okay? Let's be honest. And now, you can get a Fenway Frank, or you can get like a kale salad that they grew on the roof, because there's a garden at Fenway too. Melissa, you got it right. Love that dirty water. Exactly. All right, guys, we got a lot to talk about. I'm going to turn off the pug cam for now because Wednesday has left us until mail call. And as soon as I start going for the mail over there, that she'll just come running back over here anyway. So we got a lot to talk about. Let's talk about the recap of last week's podcast episode. So if you haven't listened to it yet, last week on the podcast, no, that's not right. Oh my God. Wait, what's going on? Oh my God. Guys, I've been running the wrong show. Hold on. I'm glad that we caught this now because all my slides are wrong. We're running the wrong show. Holy shit. The new show's loading. Last week's show was not episode 79 featuring Nita Strauss. That was 2 weeks ago. I'm running 2 weeks ago show. Why didn't you guys tell me? Do I have to start the show over again? It's Christmas. I have a pug sweater on. Do we have to start the show over again? All right, hold on. Here we go. Are we ready? Yeah, there we go. Episode 80 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. Last week's episode, Tyler Connolly from Theory of a Dead Man, who's been on the show before. This is the first time I've had to do an interview with someone that was like at a show in Massachusetts and was in a COVID bubble, and we weren't allowed to actually hang out together. So before Theory of a Dead Man took the stage at the Palladium, Tyler and I got on the phone and just start over, Mark says. I know. Oh, man, everyone will be drunk with these typos. Dana, I fixed it. There's no typo socials. I mean, you could drink anyway, but there shouldn't be any typos because I painstakingly went through this fucking show. You're welcome. Kevin says typo drink. Play war drums again, says Michael. Yes, I know. Don't you hate that? I do hate that, Eric. I put all the work into making sure that the show looks good, and then I hit play on last week's. So anyway, Tyler Connolly was on the podcast last week, and it's crazy that after 80 episodes of it coming out every week, this is just the numbered episodes, never mind the bonus episodes, that we're now getting to the point where artists have come on the podcast more than once, which is crazy because you guys remember episode number 1. So it was cool to talk to Tyler and kind of find out what the plan is with the band. Some of the funniest things that I thought from the episode were him admitting that he did a hook and loop rug for his mother with a horse on it while he was locked down with COVID. And I begged him to put pictures and video up on his social media, and he wouldn't do it. I haven't seen it yet. I don't believe that it exists. He says he's got a time-lapse freaking video of him doing the hook and loop rug, but I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, Eric says off the rails again. Exactly. Let's see. Are you baking those cookies? Yeah, everybody's baking cookies, Jen. Seriously, they're so good. Heidi says it was 50 minutes at work, and it was Wicked Pissa. I almost said Picked Wissa. What's going on tonight? Weird. Let's see. Yes, Melissa, bitch fest. So 2 things that we talked about in the episode last week. One, that Tyler Connolly thinks we need to have a Rockstar game night, which I think would be unbelievable if we got a bunch of old school games. Like, I would love to watch a bunch of rock stars play like Trivial Pursuit or Monopoly or Chutes and Ladders or Yahtzee or something, or Uno. That would be hilarious. So that was one of the things that we were talking about. And then the other thing was coming up with a touring music festival next year so that Theory could go out with all of their friends on tour next year. And so we were joking, because there's already been Ozfest and Lollapalooza, that we could name the tour Bitch Fest, and it could be the Mistress Carrie Festival. I think it would be amazing. Jillian says, great, now I want cookies. Donna says, I make a mean chocolate chip cookie. Yeah, Twister, Tracy says. Oh, man. 5-Finger Death Punch playing Battleship. That would be freaking hilarious. Let's see. Mr. Clarence got your Christmas card. It was pretty. That's fantastic. Rock and roll trivia would be great, Diva. That would be hilarious. I just love watching these guys do like normal things. You know, it's why I always ask the artists like about dropping their kids off at school. Like Ben Bruce from Asking Alexandria a couple weeks ago, talking about the gardening stuff that he's been doing at home. Because it just makes me laugh, especially like a guy like Zach Wilde, right? At a baseball game with like the hair and the wallet chain and all of that. Jen says, my husband makes a good cookie. You sunk my battleship, says Tracy. Normal things. I know, Michael, normal things. Rock and roll part cheesy, Eric says. That would be fantastic. That's exactly the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So if you missed episode 80 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, you can check it out, featuring Tyler Connolly from Theory of a Dead Man. And they have announced some tour dates next year. And also he told us in the episode that they're getting ready to go into the studio and start working on the new record, which we should have, I think, by next summer, which is pretty cool. This week, also, if you haven't subscribed to the Mistress Carrie podcast, you may have missed the plethora of bonus episodes, because there are tons. So after the Tyler Connolly episode came out on Wednesday, I got a call that Amy Lee wanted to call into the show because they wanted to talk about the rescheduled date at the DCU Center that was supposed to be this last Saturday. And so Amy Lee called in for a bonus episode of the podcast. Then tickets for the Kill the Noise tour featuring Papa Roach and Hollywood Undead and Bad Wolves went on sale on Friday. And they were like, hey, DL from Bad Wolves wants to call into the show. Do you want to talk to him? And I was like, yes, I do. So then DL from Bad Wolves called into the show. We talked to him, Western Mass guy, by the way, from the Acacia Strain. And then over the weekend, Noel Casler, who's a comedian and longtime rock and roll host, tour manager. He's been working in the business for like 20 something years. He's going to be at the Boston City Winery coming up on Thursday. And he was like, hey, can I come on the show? And I was like, well, yes. So if you haven't subscribed to the Mistress Carrie podcast, then you didn't get alerted that there's all these bonus episodes out there. So did you guys listen to the bonus episodes already? What's up, Penny? No worries about being late. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Wednesday obviously has an itch because you can hear her jingling in the background. So if you guys missed these new episodes, you can check them out now. But Amy Lee talking about, let me put the pug cam back on because, well, Wednesdays. Oh, man. Wednesday. There you are. There you are. Amy Lee talking about how all the guys in Evanescence, that everybody's doing okay, but that they're all very thankful that they are all vaccinated and the symptoms have been pretty low. And they were happy that they were able to reschedule the tour right away. DL from Bad Wolves was joking about how hard it is in LA to find Dunkin' Donuts. So we joked about that a little bit. And also DL gave me some good gossip saying that, hey, sit, good girl. that they are planning on doing all of the Tommy Vext era Bad Wolves songs when they're on the Kill the Noise tour, but that also that the band was probably going to dig some deep cuts off of the old Bad Wolves records and play those live. Some of those songs have never been played live before. And then they also obviously are really excited to play the stuff off of Dear Monsters as well. So those bonus episodes are up there. And then you guys really have to, wait, that's not the pug cam. That's the pug cam. Look at how well behaved she is. Shh. And then Noel Casler, who's going to be at the Boston City Winery on Thursday night. This guy has got rock and roll stories about everyone, because he's been on tour with everyone. He toured with James Taylor. He toured with Graham Nash. He used to work the entertainment part of the Super Bowl halftime show, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. And so if you haven't listened to that episode yet, he and I just swapped rock stories for like an hour. There's so many great stories. And so when he does his stand-up, like he tells a lot of these really funny backstage roadie stories from his time on tour. And that's kind of where he honed his chops for becoming a stand-up. So if you are looking for something to do on Thursday night, you kind of want to get away from the family, go out and have fun in the city, and just looking for an excuse to just go out and do something for yourself before the onslaught of family, go and see Noel Casler at the Boston City Winery coming up on Thursday night. Get drunk watching Anderson Cooper and get wrecked, Tracy says. You guys are starting to swap your New Year's Eve stories and what you guys are doing. Noel is a rock and roll whore. He totally is, Michael, but he has got stories about absolutely everyone, and he's absolutely hilarious, and I loved having him on the show. Gina says, hey, Carrie, just tuning in. The cookies you made this weekend are gorgeous. See, now, Gina, you looped it right back to the cookies. We've already talked about the cookies like twice, but they're delicious, so thank you. Jonathan says, working on New Year's Eve. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do yet. It's amateur night a lot of times, so usually I try to avoid. I like going to house parties with people that I know. I've had New Year's parties in the past. We've talked about this before, but just a second set of holidays with my husband being gone, it's just kind of like, I just wait till he gets home and then we'll do something fun next year or whatever. But so that's the recap of everything that happened on the podcast last week. So now I want to introduce you to who's going to be on episode 81 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. And this episode is something special. So episode 81 of the Mistress Carrie podcast features Leslie Mandoki. He is a prog rock and jazz percussionist in a band called the Mandoki Soulmates. And you may not have ever heard of him before, but his story is fascinating, and I could not wait to have him on the podcast. So the first album that the Mandoki Soulmates have released in the U.S. is called Utopia for Realists. And Leslie Mandoki's story is fascinating. I put some of it up on the screen. So he was born in communist Hungary. And in 1975, Leslie Mandoki and two of his friends escaped through a tunnel and escaped communist Hungary. And when they did that, they were intercepted by American CIA and kind of debriefed and processed. And when he was asked by the American CIA agent who had family that had grown up in Hungary and who spoke Hungarian, he noted in the interview with an American accent, by the way, he was asked what he wanted to do in the West. That's what this part of the bio is right here. He replied, because he was a musician already, that he wanted to make music with Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull, with Jack Bruce of Cream, and that's who started the Mandoki Soulmates. So not only did he get out of Hungary, he ended up settling in Germany. Then he ended up getting connected, because he's such a fantastic musician, that he started getting connected with all of these amazing musicians. And the Mandoki Soulmates are this amazing group of artists, everyone from Toto And oh my God, guys, the playlist of this episode is just out of control. But he started the Mandoki Soulmates. He owns the biggest recording studio kind of complex in Europe. And he has also, you can see it on the screen up here. He's worked with Disney. He has worked with Pixar. He's played on the soundtracks to Mulan and a bunch of other amazing Academy Award-winning animated films. He's played with everyone from Shaka Khan and Lionel Richie. And do me a favor, open a Google window and Google Leslie Mandoki, because this doesn't even scratch the surface. Now, one of the other guys that he escaped Hungary with was Gabor Zupo. You may not recognize his name, but you know his work. Gabor Zupo ended up settling in the United States because he is an artist and an animator. And his animation firm is where the original Simpsons came from. It's where Rugrats came from. Duckman. It's unbelievable. Klasky Zupo right here. That's the name of his animation studio. And they literally ran for their lives through a tunnel to escape communist Hungary. Now, I talked to Leslie Mandoki about a lot of things, about him growing up and what it was like to grow up in communist Hungary. We talked a lot about the music that he got exposed to as a child. He talked a lot about his dad, and just what his parents did. I'm not going to tell this story right now because I want you to listen to the episode. But when you get to the part of the episode where he talks about hearing the Beatles for the first time, it will blow your mind. Because I think if you've listened to a bunch of episodes of the Mistress Carrie podcast, you guys have heard countless artists talk about, like Nancy Wilson, for example, about seeing the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, right? And how that's like a moment in their life that inspired them to start playing instruments and all of that kind of stuff. When you hear Leslie Mandoki talk about hearing the Beatles for the first time and what happened the day after, it's a reminder that not everyone grew up in Western freedoms as we have become accustomed to knowing them. One of the other things that Leslie and I talked about, when I told him that my husband was in the U.S. military, he went out of his way to talk about what the U.S. military means to him. He talked a lot about what America means to the world as far as being a beacon of democracy and opportunity. And he also was very quick to give a cautionary tale that you can't be complacent with your freedoms, and that he was very protective over the freedom of the press. And when you talk to someone that grew up behind the Iron Curtain, when you talk to someone where there was torture, and he talked about the torture in the episode, executions, arrests, it is a fascinating story. And also hearing, it's really, the reason why I wanted to release it the week of Christmas is that he is one of the most inspiring, positive, optimistic people, and it is infectious from him. When I asked him where his inspiration about songwriting comes from, his answer is so genuine and so open. It's impossible not to be happy in his presence when you're talking to him. He refers to himself a lot of time in third person, like when he was making fun of himself about doing something stupid. He was like, Mandoki, what are you doing? Like he just jokes about it. Now, I will tell you that he's Hungarian born and raised. And I believe he escaped when he was 16, that him and friends at 16 years old escaped the Iron Curtain. And he's been living in Germany. He's in the United States a lot, but you got to be able to listen through his accent, because he's got a pretty thick accent. But I got this email today, and I set this interview up through the record label that's releasing Utopia for Realists, which he describes this this album as kind of like it's a tribute to Hungarian musicians. This whole package is multimedia, so there's visuals associated with it. But he talks about how this prog rock jazz fusion project is, the first single is called The Torch because they want it to be inspirational and to pass on democracy and hope and freedom to the next generation. And so this is kind of where it all comes from. So I got this email today. Hold on, I want to read it to you because when I booked this through the record company, they're the ones that put me in touch with Leslie Mandoki. So today I got an email from Leslie Mandoki himself, unprompted. It says, "Dear Carrie, thank you very much again for your time. I enjoyed your interview very much. We would like to do a review of my U.S. media appearances, and we had a very good and very sympathetic conversation about the new album, and I would be very happy to get a quote from you about that. Looking forward to your statement on our social media. Warmly, Leslie." Like, this guy, you are going to absolutely love this episode because it shows you that your dreams are possible. This guy ran for his life at 16 years old and told a US CIA agent that was waiting on the other end of the tunnel that he wanted to make music with Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull. And then he ended up starting a band called the Mandoki Soulmates with Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull. And he is so aware that he is living the dream life he always hoped he would be, that he enjoys every moment. He is happily married to a wife he adores. He is quite the flirt. It's a Hungarian thing, he explained. You'll hear that in the interview. He is a father of 3 with children that he adores. He does very well for himself. He's very famous in Europe. He was asked to do a private performance for Angela Merkel with the Mandoki Soulmates for her 60th birthday. And in the episode, he talks about the power of rock music and that Mikhail, when you're listening to the episode, sometimes people's names, he's pronouncing them in a way that we're not used to hearing because we are not pronouncing them properly like he pronounces Angela Merkel from Germany. He talked about how Mikhail Gorbachev lived in fear, as did all of the communist nations. He said they said that they lived in fear of rock music because they were convinced that rock music would be what tore down the Iron Curtain. And then you see something like the Moscow Music Peace Festival, right? This is one of the interviews that I started the podcast for. Because this is a guy that you may have never heard of him before and you have no idea what his story is. And when you hear him talk about his life through music and what his life experience was like, what his upbringing is like, you're like, wow. Like, he's a fascinating. I can't wait for you guys to hear this episode. I can't wait for you guys to tell me what you thought of it next week. So find some time while you're wrapping presents or baking cookies or whatever it is that you're doing this week, while you're driving or sitting at the airport waiting to pick up family for the holidays, and listen to episode 81 of the Mistress Carrie podcast featuring Leslie Mandoki from the Mandoki Soulmates because it's pretty special. He's an amazing guy. I can't wait to have him on the podcast again. And I can't wait. He owes me drinks. You guys will hear that in the episode. But I can't wait until they come to the States to play gigs because I want to go and watch these guys. I'm not even smart enough to understand the music that these guys are making because, like I said, it's prog rock and fusion jazz, and there's a lot of math going on. And we talked about that in the episode too. But let's see. These are the episodes that I'm most excited for, says Brianna. That's the thing, is like I always want to be able to. Hey, these are the kind, I don't always want the podcast to be the kind of the same thing, right? That I want to be able to introduce you guys to new artists. I want to keep you in touch with artists that you've loved and grown up loving. But then I also want to introduce you to these amazing, interesting characters and have the music be what we all have in common. And Brianna, I think you're going to love this episode. He was so gracious when I told him about my husband, and it came up organically in the conversation. And I had no idea he was going to react that way. And he was just so nice and sweet. But he is one of those European guys that, like, it's just their way, that they're flirty and chivalrous. And another thing that he talked about, which I thought was really interesting, is how women were viewed in Hungary when he was growing up. And that he talked about how sexism's not really a thing in their culture because no one in Hungary is raised with the idea that women are not equal, that notion is more of like a Western, North American, like there are certain cultures that believe that, whether it be based on culture, religion, whatever it is, but it's such a foreign concept. But he told the story about how once he escaped to Germany, that they warned him about dating girls because the girls in Germany, this was like in the mid 70s, the whole women's lib thing. And his reaction to the notion that women would pick up the check on a date is hilarious. And I just love him. I just think he's awesome. Perfect episode for current times. You know what, Penny? It really is, because hearing a guy like this talk about communism and talk about nationalism and talk about censorship and freedom of the press and restricting access to music and art and ideas. People like this are the people that we should be listening to. I mean, that's why Zoltan Bathory, who's also from Hungary and immigrated to the United States, that's why he is such a proponent of the U.S. military and such a proponent of like law enforcement and first responders, because he's like, Americans don't understand how good they have it. If you grew up like Zoltan did, and he'll say that the next time when they start doing press and stuff, we'll get Zoltan on the podcast, but he's very open about talking about, how so many people in this world just have no idea what it's like to grow up in a place like communist Hungary. And it's pretty fascinating stuff. So cannot wait for you guys to listen to the Mistress Carrie podcast, episode 81, featuring Leslie Mandoki. And if you subscribe to the podcast, not only do you get the weekly episodes and the bonus episodes, but you also get the sit rep, which is all of your rock news, music headlines, and industry info boiled down into 5 minutes or less. And it's sponsored by Twisted Tea. You can get 15% off with the code that I'm going to give you coming up. But that way, while you're making coffee in the morning or whatever it is that you're doing, you can just get caught up with all of the rock headlines and, the music industry info and everything, and then get about your day. And then don't forget, when you're going through the show notes of the sit rep, all the links for all the stories that I talk about are in there. So if I stumble upon something that you're super interested in, you can always go back and find where I got the information from and what article, so you can read more about it. This is just a few of the places you can listen to the Mistress Carrie podcast. If you haven't listened to it before, hit subscribe, hit follow, then you won't miss anything. And we're holding strong at 130 countries that are listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast now. So welcome to everybody that is listening around the world. And once again, this week, Australia is holding strong at the number 2 country listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast behind the U.S. All right, we got a lot of music headlines to get through, so let's just run through some of the stuff that I just want to keep on your radar. Don't forget all the shows that we talk about, all the events, the live streams, all of the stuff that we talk about is up in the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. But Beth Hart is doing a tribute to Led Zeppelin. She's going to be in Boston on February 25th. That's also, the Led Zeppelin tribute album is coming out on February 25th. Beth Hart also has a Boston tour date that I believe is at the Wang. which is also where Dream Theater is playing on February 25th. Alice Cooper is going to be at Foxwoods Buckcherry on that tour as well. That show is coming to town on March 18th. Today, the Scorpions announced that they are launching a 3-part documentary series about their new album that is called Rock Believer. That new series debuted today. Go to the Scorpions website if you want the details on that. Korn with Chevelle and Code Orange. They're going to be at the Dunkin' Donuts Center on March 16th and at the SNHU Arena in Manchester on March 19th. Tickets for both of these shows are on sale now, and the details are on the events calendar. Judas Priest has rescheduled their tour now that Richie Faulkner is on the mend, and they're going to be at Mohegan on April 2nd and at the Songus on April 4th. Metallica over the weekend did 2 headlining shows for their fan club in San Francisco at the Chase Center, and they streamed them live. Now, when they announced these shows, the tickets were only available for their fan club, but they said that they had struck a deal with the Coda Collection, and they streamed them, but they announced today that the shows are going to be put on the Coda Collection, and you're going to be able to watch them through this weekend. So if you have the Coda Collection, starting on Christmas Eve, both of those Metallica shows that were recorded in San Francisco this past weekend are going to be on the Coda Collection this weekend, and you don't want to miss them. They pulled out a lot of deep cuts. Genesis, typo. Genesis was already in town. Drink. First typo of the show. Evanescence and Hailstorm got rescheduled from this past Saturday. They are going to be at the DCU Center on January 20th. There may still be some tickets available, but if you had tickets, obviously, to the original date, they're going to be good that night at the DCU. And speaking of Hailstorm, coming up on Thursday night, they're doing their Happy Hail-A-Days live stream. So you can get some Hailstorm in before the end of the year. Chrissy Hind has got her live stream the day after Christmas. She's going to be covering Bob Dylan songs. So that live stream is happening as well. Super Bowl weekend, Green Day, Halsey, Machine Gun Kelly, and Miley Cyrus are going to be at the Crypto.com Arena, which is right now the Staples Center, but on Saturday. It officially, for the next, I believe, 20 years, Crypto.com spent $700 million on the naming rights of that arena. And so there's going to be the music festival leading up to the Super Bowl next year. Reels is doing the Frontman series every Saturday night all month. They had a series where they're focusing on different frontmen every week, everyone from Ozzy, Bruce Dickinson, Steven Tyler, and David Lee Roth. And it just goes to show how much rock stuff is ending up on TV. Access TV is doing a New Year's weekend live rock and roll special. It kicks off on the 29th, I believe at 8 p.m. with a live Kiss concert. But they've got live concerts from Kiss, Def Leppard, Fleetwood Mac, Kid Rock, and more. So that's going to be on Access TV next weekend. And let's see here. What else did I want to tell you guys about? The Spoken Word Tour with Bruce Dickinson is rolling into the Schubert Theater on February 5th. There's still tickets available for that. Volbeat and Ghost are at the DCU Center on February 11th. Those tickets are on sale. As we look forward to the end of winter and St. Patrick's Day, the Dropkick Murphys have announced their 3 shows at the House of Blues on St. Patrick's Day, the 18th and 19th of March, and then also a date at the new club in Brighton called Roadrunner on the 20th. And the guys from Royal Blood are going to be at the House of Blues on May 24th. And Falling in Reverse is going to be at the Songus coming up on the 21st. There are still some tickets available for that. And I wanted to bring up the guys from Turnstile again because Spin Magazine named them Artist of the Year. And you heard about them right here on the Mistress Carrie podcast. They're going to be at the Palladium on May 21st. And Gene Simmons also, if you're looking for a reason to go to Vegas, is opening the Kiss Museum at Rio coming up in March. And Triumph, much like Metallica, much like with Metallica Black Box, the Aerosmith Vindaloo Vaults, the Def Leppard Vault, Triumph is opening their vault at triumphvault.com. And that's where you can get access to the entire collection of memorabilia and artifacts, instruments, photographs, just whatever that the band has collected over the last 40 years. It's going to be in the Triumph Vault. Whew. The big gig is coming. The big gig is coming April 30th at the DCU, featuring Godsmack, 3 Days Grace, Black Veil Brides, Wage War, and Lilith Czar. And yes, your tickets for the previously scheduled dates are going to be valid at the end of April at the DCU. We got your Mistress Carrie deals. I was telling you, TS to T sponsoring the sit rep. If you live loose, you like gourmet tea, there's someone on your shopping list that loves gourmet tea. These are high quality, high end loose teas. If you use the code Carrie15, you get 15% off of your entire order. I always put the links for all the Mistress Carrie deals in the blog at mistresscarrie.com. That's where you can find the link and the code and everything you need. You can also get a free month of tomes, which is sound healing through frequency. You get a free month. Sign up for their 7-day free trial. If you go to my blog, there's an email address. Email them and say, I want my Mistress Carrie deal, and it gets upgraded to a month, which is pretty cool. So we want to thank Toby Wright and Jason Sikowski for upgrading you guys for a free month. And also, you get 20% off coffee. Yeah. You know you want it. 20% off coffee. So go to mistresscarrie.com. Go to the blog, and it's all right there for you. All right. You guys want to see how long it's going to take her to come running for the couch? Because it's time to start going through the mail. Start with the cards first. And I didn't even open them. Come on, Wednesday. Are you coming over here? You don't get mail over there. You get mail over here. So I got this. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. May the wonder of the holiday fill your home and heart. And it's from John. Love the War Room. Keep rocking. So thank you, John. I appreciate it. I told you guys that she was going to jump up on the couch as soon as I started opening the mail. Because you guys have spoiled the shit out of my dog. This is your fault. Hey. That's a Moscow Mule. You can't have it. You have to just sit. Back up. And we'll find out what's in the box. Then, there. Hey, you're showing your pug hole. Don't show that on the internet. It's not polite and ladylike. So this says, Snow Happiness, with all of the cute little snowmen with the little hats. Dear Carrie, thank you for all that you do. Have a wonderful holiday season. I don't want much for Christmas. I just want the person reading this to be healthy, happy, and loved. Wishing you winter's cheer and a Merry Christmas from Carol. Thanks, Carol. And Carol's buying the coffee tomorrow. Carol, you rule. Thank you. Wednesday, that one's not for you either. But you're being a very good girl and sitting nicely. Let's see. Every time, Wednesday, every time, back up, sit. This one says, Merry Christmas. May Christmas bring the season's best gifts to your door, joy and laughter, warmth and wonder, family and friends. Love, Tracy. Thank you, Tracy. I told you guys that all these Christmas cards get hung up in the doorway of the house, right? So, all right, then... This is padded. Hey, I don't remember telling you to come over here. Just sit over there. Sit over there. Got to read the card first. All right, this says, Merry Christmas, Mistress Carrie. Another ornament for the tree. I wish half your heart wasn't still deployed like last year's ornament, so I thought I would stick with a music theme this year. Happy holidays to you and your family. Trisha. Aw, thank you. Wednesday. This is so cool. Check that out. It's G clefs. How cool is that? Trisha, this is so awesome. Thank you. I don't know where you guys find all this cool stuff. Wednesday, this is not for you. Do you want to smell it? Yeah. Are you afraid of the ornament? Don't be afraid of the ornament. Back up. Back away from the ornament. But that's where it's got music notes, and how cool is that? Like I said, I don't know where you guys find this stuff, but I'm glad that you do. It's pretty badass. All right, then I should have cut this box. I'm going to have to open it with my teeth because I didn't bring a knife. Hold on. Wednesday. Oh my God. Do you guys want to take bets on how many minutes how many minutes it's going to take me, Burrito, to open your box? And how many nails I'm going to break while doing it? Here we go. Oh, I'm in, Burrito. I'm in. Your tape's not going to stop me from getting in that box. Just scared Wednesday with all the tape. All right, maybe all the tape is going to keep me from getting in the box, Burrito. Hold on, I'm getting there. Come here, Wednesday. What's in here? It's like 7. What's in the box? What's in the box? Oh, Baby Yoda Pez. Look at him. Look at his little head. Don't they kind of look like pugs? Look at Yoda. He kind of looks like Wednesday a little bit. She's not green, but look at her. And what's this one? Oh my God, I don't have this one from Trolls. Yes. So cool. All right, now I finally found the card. Hold on. Oh my God. Not the real Santa. Also, what he left under the Christmas tree is not a present, it says. Carrie, I hope this finds you well. May you and your family be blessed, and may the good Lord watch over and protect you and bless you all. P.S. Hope the shirt fits. Merry Christmas, Burrito. Thanks, Burrito. All right, so let's take a look at this shirt. I am definitely looking like Violet Beauregard on Willy Wonka when I wear this shirt, Burrito, for sure. Oh my God, where did you get this shirt? Oh. Okay, I need to set the scene. You guys know the artwork from Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, right? The cross with the skull heads of all the members of the band. This is the Guns N' Roses logo with the Muppets, Dr. Teeth, and the Electric Mayhem Orchestra on it. What? Where did you find this? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God, this is so cool. It looks, oh, dude. Where do you guys find this stuff that you send me? Wednesday, this is definitely not for you. Guys, how freaking cool is this? Oh my God, this is so awesome. Burrito, you rule. So good. Now, there's one more thing that kind of goes along this theme that came in the mail. So I wanted to send a huge shout out to my friend John, who works in marketing at the DCU Center. I have literally known him for over 20 years. John is one of the people that helped to get my Iraq and Afghanistan trips sponsored. I have known him forever. He helped with DCU sponsoring the Mistress Carrie podcast. He's amazing. So he sent me a message and said, hey, I need your address because Santa left something at your house for me. Now, you guys saw when I gave, well, if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, I gave you a tour of MCHQ and kind of showed you a lot of the stuff that's in the studio and hanging up on the wall. This is one of the other lithographs from the Muppets, like the ones that I have framed in the studio. And he sent this for me to get framed and hang on the wall in MCHQ. How freaking awesome is this? Oh my God. So thank you, John. It's unbelievable. Like I said, I don't know where you guys find this stuff for me, but this one I opened because it came in a tube and I knew that it was from John and I couldn't hold off. Everything else, I'm trying not to open the stuff you guys send me until the show. But it's really hard because I'm 5 and I can't wait. I have no patience. I love surprises, but I don't. So I wanted to show you guys that too. So it goes perfectly with your shirt, Burrito. Thanks, guys. You guys are amazing. Hold on. I have Pez and stuff on the, obviously you guys see that there's no cookies in there. So Wednesday left. See how that happens? Mail call starts. She thinks there's a possibility that she's going to get treats. She comes and sits on the couch. She realizes that the treats are from Mummy and not her. What does she do? Out like a scout on a new route. See how that is? Exactly. Oh my God. All right. Want to remind you guys, you only got a few shopping days left. So if you're looking for something for that rock fan or that music fan in your life, you can go and get Mistress Carrie merch right at Joe's Albums in Worcester and Northampton. They got it available right in the stores. You can also go to mistresscarrie.com, click on the online store. And I've been selling that once these are gone, guys, these are gone. And you can tell that people have friends that are like they're going to see that they haven't seen in a while because these made in lockdown onesies are starting to be gone for good. So the sizes I still have in stock are up on the website, but they're only $8 and you got to get them while they last because obviously once they're gone, they're gone. But you got to pick them up. And oh my God, typo, their Black Friday sale is over. Fuck, I made another mistake. Damn it, I hate it when there's typos on the show. It drives me crazy. Let's see. So that's what's going on. Also want to remind you guys that as you guys are making food for everybody or you're driving and you want to get into the holiday spirit, the Mistress Carrie holiday playlist is up online in my blog. It's an embedded Spotify playlist. So if you got Spotify, you can check out my holiday playlist. And I also made the 2021 Rocks playlist with some of the best new music that came out this year. And there is a lot. So if you are looking to kind of get a recap and get reminded about all the amazing new music that came out this year, the Mistress Carrie 2021 Rocks playlist is up there for you as well. If it's your birthday today, you share it with Frank Zappa. You also share it with Patrick Murphy from the Lemonheads. And it was on this date in 1970. And you need to go and read the full story because it all really fucking happened. That Elvis Presley showed up on this date in 1970 at the gate of the White House, unannounced, with a letter for President Nixon saying that he wanted to help and he needed to be deputized as a federal agent to do it. You know the famous picture of Nixon and Elvis in the Oval Office? That's because Elvis on this date in 1970 showed up at the White House and demanded to see the president, and he did. What? Yeah, you got to go and read the whole story. Priscilla Presley talked about it in her autobiography that Elvis was convinced that once he was deputized as a federal drug agent by Nixon, that badge or whatever that Nixon gave him would allow him to travel around the world freely and bring whatever drugs he wanted everywhere. Like, this just goes to show you that when you're at the level of fame that Elvis was at, like the real world and the things that the rest of us deal with are just not even a factor for a guy like Elvis. So you got to go and read the story behind it's an iconic picture of Elvis and Nixon, and it happened on this date in 1970. And when it popped up today, I was like, oh my God, we need to talk about that in the War Room because it's hilarious. Jonathan wants to know what happened at the mandatory meeting at the Pike. Good question, Jonathan. So we had if you guys were listening to Mike Shue last week, I barged into the studio with him. He and I had a meeting. So here's the crazy thing, right? Because of COVID, they have not had the entire staff at the Pike in Worcester together in the same room at the same time. And because so many people have been working remote and me just getting hired in May. And so basically they wanted to have a meeting with the entire staff before the holidays so we could all meet. So it wasn't like any kind of crazy, like weird meeting for like any reason or whatever. It was just a way for us all to get in the same room to be like, hi, I'm the person on the other end of the emails that we've been exchanging. And so that's all it was. It was a way for the staff to kind of get to know Mike Shue and I, because we're the new people on the staff, and especially like the salespeople to kind of get to know us and kind of find out the things that we like and the things that we don't like. And so that's all it was. It wasn't anything bad. Carrie, where can I send you a link? You can send it, just hit the contact button at mistresscarrie.com, Brito, and you can email me straight through there. You can send me a link if you need to. Let's see. Thank God they didn't announce that the Pike was going to turn into a Christian radio station. No, Michael, they're not. But it was really cool, actually, to just kind of be able to meet all the people that I've been working with since May and never met. You swap emails with people, as more and more people are working remote, those personal connections and the personal relationships are important. And so it was cool to get everybody together. Mike and you reintroducing each other to yourselves. Yeah, it was really cool. Like, it was really funny. And some of the people that work at the Pike even said, like, you can tell you and Mike Shue have worked together for a really long time and you've known each other for a really long time, because there's like a shorthand. And if you go back and look at Mike Shue's Twitter feed this week, so before I left to go to the Pike for that meeting, I texted Mike because he was on the air. And I said, hey, stopping at Dunk's. Do you want anything? And he was like, no, thanks. Appreciate it. See you when you get here. Just come straight to the studio when you get in. So I was like, okay. So Mike Shue put up this meme and tagged me in it on Twitter. And it says, in Massachusetts, we don't say I love you. We say I'm stopping at Dunkin'. Do you want anything? And I think that's really beautiful. And he tagged me in it because he and I do that to each other all the time. If he's meeting me someplace or I'm meeting him someplace, we'll text him, be like, hey, stopping at Dunk's, do you want anything? And so that's how Mike Shue knows I love him, is that I offer to stop and get him coffee. So there you go. So the meeting was fine. It was totally fine. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass on Patreon, then you already know all of this stuff. But if you don't, you can get a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass. It gives you access to an exclusive monthly live stream with me, which, by the way, we're doing this Sunday night at 7:30. So if you are already have a Backstage Pass, I'll meet you guys on Sunday night at 7:30. We'll go over all the holiday craziness. Maybe I'll share my recipe for Italian cookies. Maybe. You can also submit podcast interview questions. You get 20% off of everything through Christmas. So if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you have got until 11:59 p.m. on Christmas to take advantage of 20% off of everything in the online Mistress Carrie store. You also get early access to event tickets when we have them, and you get exclusive concert ticket giveaways. And we've been talking a lot about Falling in Reverse at the Songus. And some people had asked, hey, did your tickets for Falling in Reverse come in? They came in today. I got them. So if I already gave you tickets to see Falling in Reverse, I actually have the tickets now. So I'll be able to get them to you before Christmas. If you don't have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, it's super easy. You can click the Patreon link at mistresscarrie.com or go straight to patreon.com/mistresscarrie. And there you go. Don't forget, these are all the places you can find me on social: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Cameo, YouTube, Patreon. We're kind of all over the place. And Wednesday's Instagram as well. She's going to be posting, I'm sure, plenty of photos through the holidays. So if you're not following at Wednesday the Goth Pug on Instagram, you can see all of her exclusive pictures as well. Oh my God, I will be there for the secret recipe, says Jen. Let's see. Hey, everyone. Fell asleep. Merry Christmas, Carrie, Wednesday and family. Thanks, Kathy. Merry Christmas to you, too. Let's see. My sister-in-law from Virginia thinks that Starbucks is better than Dunkin'. Well, Michelle, your sister-in-law from Virginia is wrong. Tell her I said so. She's wrong. Oh, we didn't say happy unbirthday to Keith, by the way. Keith, happy unbirthday. Let's see. Are you going to get Wednesday a picture with Santa at Petco? Heidi, I have been trying. Either the line has been crazy or Santa wasn't in. Like normally Santa's in when I'm on the air, which makes it really hard for me to take Wednesday to see Santa at Petco. But I'm trying. Jen says, Merry Christmas, my friends. Heidi says, I agree. Duncan's where it's at. So this is basically, the Christmas episode because the holiday's coming up and I'm not going to see you guys in the war room again until after Christmas. So, Merry Christmas to you guys. I hope you have a fantastic holiday. I hope that you are able to spend it with your family, that everyone is healthy. If you're traveling for the holiday, please be careful. The traffic, they're expecting to be bad. Watch the weather. Expect longer delays at the airport. I mean, it's going to be very, very interesting traveling this year. A lot of families haven't been able to get together for the last couple of years. And so also try not to stab anyone across the table at the Thanksgiving dinner or at Christmas dinner with a knife for saying something stupid. It's been a while since we've been in groups. We got to get used to being in groups again. So everybody just be nice. And if you need to vent, you can join me for the Backstage Pass live stream on Sunday night, and I will listen to you complain about how big of assholes your family are on Sunday night at 7:30. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you for all of your wonderful Christmas cards and all your gifts and for spoiling my dog. And next year, I cannot wait to be able to spend Christmas with my husband. So that's the only thing that's kind of a bummer. Sending out the Christmas presents by mail. He hasn't gotten his Christmas presents yet. Not really convinced that he's going to get them by the time Christmas rolls around. But this is the second Christmas in a row that he's been deployed. So it's going to be nice to get him home next year. So Merry Christmas, guys. Cheers to you. Thank you for 163 episodes of Cocktails in the War Room. I'll see you guys next week for the last episode of the year, believe it or not. The last episode of 2021 next week, and I'm out of ugly Christmas sweaters. Thank God.